Thank you so very much. That's the devil's way of saying and doing something else. God has been good to us this week. There's been 7 days of goodness beyond his normal capacity to be good. Yeah. Last last Lord's Day, we were without the benefit of those carrying the church. Well, I ain't gonna say decided they wanted to leave the stragglers and go to Calvary Gardens and wherever else they were lollygagging and floundering at. Had a good time. And the report was for the first time in the 25 years I've been here, they had a good time without an incident. That means somebody's wrong. I don't know who it is, but somebody. Because they never said who was causing the trouble anyway. So somebody is growing. And the week went on and progressed, and certainly it ended on Saturday. Friday, Donda, stand up, please. I know she don't like it because I heard her when she said it, but I just meant by God, I would never do it. You take your bow. Wonderful, wonderful job rallying us and making us spend up all of God's money. I'm not sure because I didn't really hear the final tally. But of course, that person that's always in my ear, she said you came in third. I don't know if that's true, but okay, well, we came in third, and so Bert, you take your bow for the Lord. It has always meant much. Oh, Joe. Um, When y'all get to him, John, Andrew, it could be Judas. When y'all get to the gate, tell them I want to go to the left side. I'm going to the right side. It's cool on the right side, but it's almost 80s in here this morning. It's hot in here, so y'all go and y'all go on the left side. I don't want to spend an eternity trying to fan the flame. You ain't turn that thing in? Yes. And it might be me. I don't know. Well, I'm always 10 or 15 degrees hotter than you. Let me get back to this. I was sitting back there and I was right up under the bed. I said, "Do a sweat. Just over there, Helen. I don't know where to go." That's a part. God is good. He is. He is. I tell you. There's a lot of people that's going to benefit from the work you did on Friday evening. And I think that's what pleases God. When God is able to get the glory from the work that we do and we're able to lower ourselves, it's adjustable. I think God is certainly. Thank you to those who are visiting with us. It is good to see another one of my traveling sons. He likes to think a little less than I think of him, but he's visiting with us for just a week or two, and he'll be heading to the great city of Norfolk, Virginia, where there's much trouble awaiting him. He just don't know it. There's a lot of trouble between North Carolina and DC. But it's good to see Tashard and was even more grateful that I was able to spend some personal time with him at the house the other day. He taught me much. You know, old folk, you can't teach them that. I'm still a learner, so I guess I'm young. You You got your instructions. I'm going to call him before you get there, and he's going to be looking out. So you just look forward to the rest of your journey. Thank you to those who are visiting with us on the internet, those who've allowed for us the space in your place. We appreciate that. And we do hope that something will be said this morning that will cause you to just do some thinking. Life is, so Peter says, but a vapor. It's only here for a short time and then it vanishes away. We have opportunity for the next phase. Remind you of the other brothers, no. Take me to the next phase, mate. Y'all don't know what it is. Sister Benita, you know the song, don't you? Take me to the next phase. Yeah, I can depend on her telling the truth. The rest of y'all holy and acceptable unto God. I was thinking, how many of you all read Judges chapter 19? Kind of scary, wasn't it? Kind of scary, wasn't it? God has it there for a reason. And by the way, if you haven't figured out by now, we are in the same place as what you read. Sodom and Gomorrah has infiltrated America, and the rest of us have turned our back as if it hasn't happened. So we're right in the text this morning, although it is somewhat disturbing to read. God has it there for a reason. I want you to think about this. You ever seen something or read something or witnessed something that was so disturbing? I mean, no matter what you tried to do, you just couldn't unsee it. It was just in your head and you couldn't do nothing else with it. Something so painful that it just stayed with you no matter where you went. I mean, you couldn't shake that monkey for nothing. And let me ask you this. What happened when things that used to bother you don't bother you no more? What happens when you get used to a thing? You know it's wrong, but you just get so used to it, it just doesn't bother you. That's where we're living. People see tragedy all the time. Talk about it. Feel some kind of way about it. I don't ever do a thing about it. When we embrace the idea of Christ, part of that embracing was to bandage up the wounds of the brokenhearted, was to preach the favorable day of the Lord and to go and visit with those that are incarcerated. Many of us have taken what we embraced seriously. I mean, we see violence all around us, but we keep eating dinner. You see the injustices that make America what it is, but yet you keep scrolling through the World Wide Web trying to find entertainment. You watch people's hearts be broken, and not only here, but all over the world, and you just start calling it normal. I stopped by to tell you, Shard, the danger is not what's going on around us. The danger is what's happening on the inside of us. Now, this text, it ain't a happy one, but it's got a story to tell because it's a story that we live every day. You ain't gonna shout. You might not even like it because the 21st century palate is so soft that it can't take nothing. But this thing is dark, it's disturbing, it is painful, but it's there for a reason. And sometimes what God has to do is take you to an uncomfortable place so that he can reveal an uncomfortable truth. All right. And that's what we're going to find in Judges 19. Judges 19. Y'all got time for this? Yeah. See, if you read it, you don't just see sin. You see what's happening to an entire nation when they get used to certain things that they know are wrong. America knows that racism is wrong, but we've accepted it to the point that young people today will tell you there is no such thing as racism in our culture. America has known that uh, husbands and wives that are beating and battering one another is wrong. But it's getting to the place where it's so common that we just accept it as a tragedy that happened. Young people are killing one another. And I don't see any of God's people out on the front line trying to stop it. That's where we are. In the text of Levi, a preacher, by the way, he travels to retrieve his concubine, his secondary wife. And y'all thought mistreating the preacher was a 21st century thing. It ain't new. You've been mistreating him all along. Y'all supposed to laugh at that, because you ain't gonna laugh at the rest of this. And on the way back, he stops by the Holiday Inn. And while he's there, evil men come to assault the room that they're in. So to protect himself, what the preacher does is he sends her up. I don't know what he was thinking about, but when he sent her out, for the next 4 days, they brutally abused her night and day. And then she died. What do we see in this? Abuse. Physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. We see abuse. We see neglect. And at the same time, we see silence. But by the time we get to verse number 25, and this is what silence does, that same man saw this situation become so horrific that he would do the unthinkable. And he didn't do it just so that somebody could see the thing was happening. He did it to wake up a sleeping nation. God sent me by to tell you this morning, wake up. You've gotten comfortable with sin, wake up. It's taking a toll on our society, it's killing our community. God says,
Wake up.
wake up
All right.
before I shake you up. See, there is a painful cause to what we're about to see. So here's what it says in verse 29. When he entered his house, he took a knife and seized his wife, cut her in 12 pieces, limb by limb. Sound like Jeffrey Dahmer? Then he sent her through the territory of Israel. Everybody who saw it said, nothing like this has ever happened or been seen from the day we left Egypt till today. He ends by saying, consider it, make a plan, speak up. Y'all see that? This nation, Israel, America, is numb to sin. Sin don't even shock us anymore. The bloodier it gets, the more it makes sense to us. We are allowing our children to be on the internet with all of this nonsense that they see, and it doesn't faze us at all. Because we don't see and we can't see the tragedy that's sitting in front of them. So we just let them keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until somebody locks them up, and then all of a sudden you want to talk to guess who? Notice how things that used to bother you don't bother you no more. Don't you think about you? Don't worry about what I'm saying. Think about you. Another Columbine come. It's sad. What are we doing? Another Amber Alert in the middle of the night. You know, James says praying by itself ain't really the answer. Another injustice comes, and we just say, well, he shouldn't have slapped Sheba like that. At some point, you got to see beyond sin. You got to start getting used to it. You got to start getting used to it. I want you to write this down for those that are writing.
Come on.
When sin starts bothering you, your spirit is already there. Y'all ain't listening. The only reason we come to church, by the way, hopefully, most of us, at least 2% of us, the reason we come is because we're really trying to make it into our second home space. The other 98%, they just come for whatever the reason is. Say amen if you can. So I'm talking to the ones that stuff bother you. If it don't bother you no more, your spirit's already in trouble. If you read this, what it should have done was not left you in silence. It should have did you like Roots did Jackie and made you mad as. So as you read the text says, ask the question, who left her at the door? Here's a woman that's suffering while we're sitting back being quiet. Man, there's dope in our school. 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old boys in our schools having sex. It ain't bothering y'all. It ain't bothering nobody. We're so busy covering this stuff up because we've already determined, guess what? It's just a sign of the time. Somebody stayed silent all night long while this lady was being battered and bruised. While at the same time, somebody else knew what was going on and didn't say a word. There are people in here today that are sitting in this very space who are smiling on the outside, but hurting on the inside. You are really fearful of going home because there's all kinds of hell that's going on at your house. Abusive relationships, mental health challenges, all this stuff is going, silent addictions, all this stuff is going on around us. And the question is not who knew, the question is who said so. Oh, you hear these clowns on TV, the police, if you see something, say something. That's about as disingenuous as hell is real. Somebody should have said something when they saw what was going on with this lady, but nobody said a thing. Now, here's something else for you writers to write down. Evil only thrives on the silence of people who know better. I think that's it. See, evil takes its place on people who sit on the sideline when they know they should be in the fight. And when that happens, what God has to do is shake us up.
All right. All right.
And God will shake you up so he can wake you up.
Mercy.
And it doesn't have to be anything tragic to get your attention. All this Levite did was acted like a fool. Say amen if you can.
Come on.
Sheba looked at me this morning like I was a fool. Something takes on the form of tragedy to get our attention. We're already too far gone. You ever ignored a warning sign when you knew something drastic was going to happen? You ate that last pig foot, knowing that your heart about to pop. But you enjoyed that pig foot so much that your heart gets what? Sank in the shadow. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all ain't eat pig feet no more. You ignored your health until the doctor said you're about to die. When he says you're about to die, now you want to do something. Too late. You're in a marriage. You know good and well it's going to send you straight to hell. But you stay there until the papers come. You're ignoring your walk with God until your life falls apart. Then when your life falls apart, then all of a sudden, guess what you want to do? And sometimes God will let your life get shook up like that. And it's never intended to destroy you. It's always intended to wake you up. And so God says to himself, okay, if you won't listen to my whisper, I'll use my loud wake-up call. Because when you ignore things in peace, that's the stuff that you're going to face in pain. The very thing that we're sitting back, not worried about, it's going to come to your house sooner or later. And it's going to be too late when it gets there. We don't think that little boys and little girls kissing on each other in the 5th grade is a big deal. Till you come home talking about I didn't have the morning after. It's too late. And now you got 18 to 25 years worth of pain that you didn't even ask for. Yeah, y'all don't like that. I love this stuff. Yeah, because see, sin always costs you more than you're willing to pay. And let me tell you, when sin comes to your life, it doesn't come with an exact payment schedule. It don't carry a price tag that's defined. Sin will let you charge something now and pay for it later. One moment of pleasure will cost you a lifetime of prayers. One bad decision has generational impact. One compromise, one small compromise, got major, major, major consequences. All you got to do is just let it slide one time. Let the devil slip through the crack one time. He ain't coming out. But sin don't ever advertise the full price up front. It all feels good for the moment. Because, see, metaphorically, the devil will let you swipe the card, but he ain't gonna tell you what the interest rate is. And we just keep swiping. We keep swiping. So what God is doing in Judges 19 is calling us to reflect on ourselves and to respond within our own communities so that what you are going to do about the problem stays in line with what God has done about your problem. Said something else. If God hadn't done anything about your problem, you ain't gonna do nothing about nobody else. You can't see how the grace of God manifested itself in you and fixed your problem. And just because Reagan is up here looking at me like that, let me tell y'all this. God said, all of y'all have sinned, and all of us has fallen. So don't be looking next door. Look in the mirror. Because he wants you to respond to other people the way he responded to you.
All right, come on.
And just because you're in church don't mean that God has responded to you. You will know whether he's responded to you when you start reflecting.
Come on now. Come on.
You will know when you start acting like what he put in you. When grace came, he came to instruct us on how to live soberly, how to live righteously, how to live godly in this present age. Do something. All right, Sheba, I'm talking to you this morning. The rest of them, she said, I can't see about what I'm thinking, but okay, that's all right. Think of a courtroom. Evidence, all the evidence has been presented to you. The truth has been revealed in the court. The question ain't going to be, after all that has gone on, what happened? You already know what happened. The question now is, what's the verdict? You already know what's the happen. Now, what's your verdict? How are you going to respond to the ills of this one based on the grace of God? See, the reason some of y'all can't handle a word like this is because grace hasn't had its place with you. And you're going to walk out of here the same way you came in here. And all you got was information without transformation. And that's called condemnation.
Come on now.
Do I need to do that again?
All right.
All you got was information. Oh, it sounded good, but it didn't do a thing about your life. And Jesus said, not Howard Dwayne, but Jesus said, it is your word that is going to condemn you. So somebody came in here comfortable, and God wants you to leave uncomfortable.
All right.
He wants to shake you
All
up
right.
because you've been ignoring stuff. And God is saying, I need to confront you today. There is pain that you need to feel. There's deep pain you need to feel because within pain is my purpose. Sometimes God will let something break your heart so that he can wake up your soul. And I hear the Spirit saying in the text, don't ignore it. You need to address it. The Spirit is saying, don't hide it. He said, you need to confront it. The Spirit said, don't be silent. You need to talk it up.
Come on. Come on.
And if you don't know how to talk it up,
Mm-hmm.
James says, ask the one who got all the sense, and he'll teach you how to talk it up.
All right.
But if it ain't bothering you now,
Mm.
if it ain't bothering you,
Come on now.
don't you look at
All
me
right.
anymore. I was talking to a young man last week. He's one of the interns that's in there with me. He's following something that he really doesn't understand. I had to say some things to him the other day that had his eyes not like yours. Yeah, but wide open. Yeah, yeah. See, because in Black nationalism, some things about everyday living don't bother you when you're just so hung up on being Black. Mm-hmm. You see the same thing I see, but you can't do anything about it because you're trying to be Black. You got to work to be Black. I mean, it could be both. Never mind. It's see, some people listen to that stuff and they just run with it. It does not move the pendulum one iota when it comes to how we live down here. If stuff don't bother you, something wrong with you. If you can sleep at night after watching some of that trash I see on TV, something wrong with you. Parents, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but I'm saying it anyway. They ain't gonna take it back. You letting your children watch all that CRAP, it's gonna come back and get you. Now you don't have to believe me today, but just let the devil have time to mature it and see what happens. And for some of us, it's already too late. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. You all right? Mm-hmm. Y'all don't look all right. But God doesn't want to end this on that kind of note either. Turn your Bible to 1 Corinthians, or Hebrews chapter 12. I want to show you something. Hebrews chapter.
Hey.
He finally woke up. He heard a word I said, but he woke up then. He can't know the difference between 1 Corinthians and Hebrews. He hollered, which one? Chapter 12, verse number 1 says something. It says, seeing that we have this what? this great cloud of witnesses surrounding us. Many people have died that look like us so that we would not have to be suffering the way that we're suffering in our society today. Them died in the 1960s. Y'all can name them, can't you? You had Martin, you had John, you had Ted, you had Malcolm. Free Mandela, you had them all. These men, they purchased the right for you all to live free, for us to live soberly, walking up and down these streets. And I told that same young man the other day, take that goddamn shirt off. He had no idea what that X on his chest meant. And I knew it because I watched him. It's disrespectful. It just ain't right. Your mothers and fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, the foreparents, y'all call them ancestors, didn't die for that. They didn't die so we can be shooting at each other up and down the street. So they died. They didn't die so y'all black Republicans could go get that orange and put it in the White House. That ain't why they died. He said, see these, we got this great cloud of witnesses around us, surrounding us. Let us do what? Hold fast. What you gotta hold fast to? I read it. Y'all act like y'all that R word. Read that thing.
Therefore, since we have so great a cloud of witnesses surrounding us,
Surrounding us.
let us also lay aside every encumbrance and the sin
What are you holding on to?
which so easily
What are you holding on to? You ain't holding on to sin, sister. It said let that go. Ooh, Jamal. Pray with this child. Yeah. You gotta hold on to what those who are surrounding us left for us and let go of the obstacles and the sin that does what?
So easily beset us.
Beset us. Did. I know for all you brilliant people, he's talking about those faithful Jews who led the charge before we got to Paul writing the Hebrew letter. But I got y'all too. The sin that he's talking about is actually in the A side of the verse. That's what he's missing. Because later on he will say we need to hold on to our confession without wavering. Whatever brought us to faith, he says, hold on to that. Now listen. What does that have to do with a young boy slaying another young boy in the street? What brought us to faith? Christ did. What did he do? Sacrificed his life so that I could live. Everybody agree with me so far? Yeah. When you disagree with me, say I don't agree. All right. So you, mister, if that's in your faith container, what you have to do in order to hold on it is instead of shooting that person, is lower yourself so that that person can be lifted up and put your gun on the ship. Y'all ain't feeling this, are you? I didn't think so. Because you're confessing the wrong thing. Lay that attitude next to guess who? Who you say your faith is in. Why Jesus don't like purple? Didn't either. Did you? It's not the standard. The next one is not the standard. The standard of Christianity is Christ. Whatever attitude you have, whatever intention you have, whatever thought you have, has to be given over to him, and he has to capture it so that his thoughts can, guess where? Dwell in me.
All right. All right. Come on now.
And the only way that happens is for us to get off this chair, go out there and capture his soul, and teach him to observe the things that Jesus taught. That's the only way. I love Adrian Mason to death, but she can do all the counseling she wants. Until God get in the middle of it, he's still gonna be an heathen. Not you. Right, look like. I'm just, when you go home, husbands and wives, I don't care what the color is. To my wife's face. Yeah, that's not really why. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it again. It's because I have to lower myself so that her foolishness can get dealt with. Yeah, y'all ain't get that. Her foolishness can't get dealt with me anyway, and vice versa. I don't think I'm one sided because I got a lot of foolishness in me. And there are some times like yesterday. I ain't talked to her all day long. But I don't love her any less today than I did before she told that girl. So guess what? Y'all ain't listening. Huh? No, nothing changed. No, nothing changed. She don't have to ask me, beg me, she don't have to borrow from me. No, nothing changed. That's what she didn't like this moment. I'm that self-sacrificing human being that she's gonna have to at some point see that will change her life. Isn't that what Peter said, ladies? It ain't your hair that's being plaited. You know what he's saying? It ain't the clothes that you're wearing. It's that meek and quiet spirit on the inside. Y'all ain't never read that, have you? All right, y'all didn't read it. And when he said ladies, he's using it generically. So all you hard heads don't get it. Because he's talking to you too. He's talking to you too. Y'all all right? It's 11 o'clock. Y'all ready to go home? I'm going to stay at 11:30. He said, see, we have this great cloud of witnesses around us. He said, let go of the stuff that's in your way. Free yourself from, guess what? From the obstacle. And then he says, yeah, I like this. THE. Don't sin that so easily besets us. When the definite article the precedes the verb, it means something. Means something. You got to find out what yours is. You got to find out what yours is. You got to find out what yours is. Because yours ain't mine. The thing that's holding me back don't have to be the thing that's holding you back. The sin that's keep tricking me, it don't have to be the same thing that's tricking you. He said you push that out of the way. What I like about scripture is eventually if you learn how to read instead of reading stories and trying to see stuff that you don't see. And they eventually interpret themselves because by the time you get to chapter 10, here's what it says. And this is why one name is so important, by the way. He says, not forsaking the assembly by ourselves together as a man of some eat, but exhorting one another. What's exhorting one another? A simple workable definition. What's exhorting one another? So this side first. This side. Wrong, wrong. This side. Scared. You know who she is now? She's me. What he means is she takes my place and take her. Y'all don't get that thing. I know you don't. You forgot about the cross. You forget about the grace of God too often. But what Paul is saying is that as I'm seeing the day approaching, I got to treat you like it's just me. Should I ask you the one that's next? You want me to ask you? She said ask you. How many of y'all treat the person next to you like that? Yeah, yeah, in your case, it's me. So I'm trying to be sweet, because I'm nice. How many of you all treat the person that just say lives in your house like that? You know, we have gone so long with it ain't none of your business. And every man got to think for himself. We've gone so long with this that it's now a part of our guess what? Our internal parts. And that's why you can't get not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together as the man of some is, but exhorting one another in so much the more as you see the day approaching. What I've got to do, the further I get to where I am this morning, is turn her into guess who? Into me. And how I approach my journey to Sunday. Y'all don't like that, do you? Good, I've done my work. Because it's not going to change. It's not going to change because we've not understood it that way. But think of it in these terms. When we get to heaven, there's going to be goats on the left, and there's going to be sheep on the right. Y'all know what a goat can handle that a sheep can't? Y'all didn't think that was coming back, did you? Y'all didn't think that was coming back, did you? That's a joke. But in heaven, the thing that you need to get with these witnesses, they are in heaven and they are rallying around you, cheering you on as if they are running the race for you. So that when you finally get across the finish line, guess what does not have to be said? Because you've already ran the race. Well done. Y'all didn't get it. Y'all didn't get it. See, as you run through life's race, you got all these folk who preceded you that made it. They already crossed the line. And guess what they're over there doing? Transporting themselves to you. So that you can guess what? Make it. But in your faith container, you've already made it because hope says you're going to call it what it's not. Faithful people. You don't worry about how drunk you got last night. Advise them. But I ain't not. You don't worry about how many women you slept with last week. How many men you slept with last week. Worry about that. You worry about the race. We're so busy worried about the obstacles and the sin, you forget about the race. The race is the important thing. The obstacle and the sin, 1 Corinthians 13, will tell you that they're the temporary thing. It's the race. That's the permanent thing. Focus on the race. On the race. Here's what's interesting about the race. The race is only won by those whose author and perfecter of faith. That's who wins the race. James, you can die and lose. But you got to look unto Jesus. That's the goal. Who is the what? The author, the beginning and the end of faith. If your eyes ain't on him, you want to affect things outside. If your eyes ain't on him, when WALB comes on tonight and Mr. Successful here winds up in prison, you know what you're gonna say? Man, I need to pray for him. You do more than pray. Judges chapter 19. Y'all need to go read that. But allow for the exegetical work of God to do its work. And to lift off of those pages what you need to understand and not what you see with your eyes. Our society is gone. In God we trust is fading away. Even on your money, it's getting smaller and smaller, smaller. There's a reason for that. And we should be out there enlarging it. And we're not doing that. Now, one thing, if you ever pay attention to me, what you notice about me when I'm talking about y'all, I say y'all. But when I'm talking about us, I include you. We're not out there doing as much as we can do to make sure that our children are not hungry, that grown men who are able to work can find gainful employment. We're not doing that. We're leaving it all to Angela. We're leaving it to Angela. The bigger the prisons get, the bigger the problem is. Sometimes you got to step up and support. There are a lot of things we can be doing. But Jesus said it, I believe in that stuff. We're going to stand and sing that. The harvest is plenty. For those that are willing to do the work are very few. I believe that to be true. I've lived through my lifetime. What are we singing, Joe? You feel like you want to get up. You okay? I should. You need a healing? Y'all stand. Let's sing together.